All right, back to the Honey Hole Hideout. Yeah, so this is part 2 of the Honey Hole Haul. So, if you didn't watch part 1, I've been going to this store that I rediscovered because I've been there before years ago. But man, I've been pulling out keys, silver, bronze, high-grade books for like $2.50. The books are $3 bins, and if you buy $100 or more, he lowers it to $2.50. So I go there and I drop an easy $100 every time. So instead of yakking and talking your ear off, let's get into the books. Creatures on the Loose, number 30 from 1974. Beautiful, beautiful cover. I don't know who does this. Metarog, tell us who does this. Is it Rich Buckler? But it's cool, man. Full Moon, Dark Fear. What's wrong, honey? What is it? What do you see behind us? Spider-Man's Werewolf Nevis now in a series of his own. So not only that, but I picked up number 32, November 1974. And I forgot to tell you that this is the first appearance of Simon Stroud, who was an agent confirmed to be in the new Morbius movie. So that's a key. High grade, too. $2.50. Okay, now we got Creatures on the Loose number 32 featuring Kraven the Hunter and Man-Wolf. Holy sock it to me. You know what I like between Man-Wolf? Or I like Man-Wolf a little bit more than Werewolf by Night because his fur is silver, which makes him look so much cooler. And you know that Man-Wolf is Jane Jonah Jameson's son, who was an astronaut. Something about a moonstone that he got, he put it around his neck and it like adhered to his skin and changed him into a werewolf or a man-wolf. Next book is a second copy, but can you pass this up for $2.50? I don't think you can. Is that a Jim Starlin cover? I believe it is. Classic Thor battle with Captain Marvel. I do have this already, but this is such a beautiful cover, though. Look at the colors. They're just so vibrant. The reds and the blues. The big green and yellow title. Number 57 from 1978. Pat Broadwick. Sorry. It's Pat Broadwick on that cover. Picked up some of these. Gil Kane, 1977. Champions number 16. Another one of my favorite team books from Marvel from the 70s. You got your Black Widow, of course. Roger, you got your Ghost Rider. You got your Beast, your Iceman, Hercules, Magneto, and a super surprise guest star. And if you didn't see the last video, I picked up these two books also from that store. This was $2.50. Second Man Thing, this was $5. Champions number 17, January 1978. Another beautiful cover. You got the Centennials on there. Of course, you got my girl, Black Widow. Then you got the Angel in my favorite costume, the red one with the yellow gloves. Roger, there's your Ghost Rider. $2.50. Not gonna turn it down. Ernie Chan, 1977. I love how Ernie Chan always puts the date on his signatures. Nice Silver Age, April 1966, number 65 of Brave and the Bold presents The Flash and the Doom Patrol. Look at that book. Look at how nice it is for $2.50. Nice, yeah. I always liked the Doom Patrol. They kind of were like the early X-Men, if you ever read them. A lot of in-house fighting. And then the boss is always breaking it up, trying to get them to realize that they are brothers and sisters. Another Creatures on the Loose, number May 72, number 17. Nice high grade copy. And this is Gulliver Jones, Warrior of Mars, Slaves of the Spider Swarm. They're like spider monkeys. Man, beautiful Gil Kane cover. Dr. Von Chilla, this one's for you. Man, I can't believe how nice that book is. If you saw last video, I showed one of these. This is number 3, September 81, Charlton Bullseye. This one I haven't read. This was when Charlton was attempting to come back from the low sales that they were suffering from. This was an anthology book they put out where they were hiring amateur artists and writers. And the one I read was really good. So this one I hope is just as good. And it says Ion Car 1981. So yeah, I have a couple issues now of this. I think I have 3. Okay, not turning that down for $2.50. Havoc on the Homeworld. You got Ronin on the cover. You got the Unimind. You got it all, man. You got a nice high-grade copy. Captain Marvel number 41, November 1976. 5. Yeah, man. Pulling tons of these books out of that store. This is another book that's kind of gone up in price because it's the first appearance of the Golden Age Batwoman in the modern age. January 1982, Brave and the Bold number 182. Very cool Jim Apparel cover. Look at that Batgirl right there. Or Batwoman, should I say. Then you got Hugo Strange, Dr. Death. You got the old Batmobile from Earth 2. Interlude on Earth 2. You got cool Robin costume. That costume was always so cool. I used to own this years ago, and when I went to try to get it back, like at some of the stores, they wanted like $10 for this thing, and I'm like, really? And these are ones that I picked up off the newsstand as a kid. December 1981, number 181 with Hawk and Dove, another Jim Apparel cover, interiors. Another just cool with a gigantic Batman in the background, kind of reminiscent of Jerry Robinson's covers. Love it. One's an aggressive and one's a pacifist. And you know Hawk and Dove was created by the great Steve Ditko. I pulled out a few high-grade copies of this out of there too. Early issues. I got number 11. Now I got number 10. It's 12 o'clock. The Witching Hour. September 1970. I guess I'm right. Man, look at that cover. It's just gorgeous. Nice shadowing with greens and blacks. This is another one that I already owned. I've read this last year. Great story. Buckler cover, Bob Layton. Issue number 1, Star Hunters. If you've seen the movie, what's the name of that movie? With Kurt Russell, where he wakes up on a planet that's like a junkyard soldier. This is kind of like that. Reminded me a lot of that movie when I read it. This is Don Newton art in here too. One of my favorite artists. So glad to just grab another copy of this. Pretty decent copy too for $2.50. And that might be going in the prize box for the next contest. Picked up this. Not really into Spider-Woman other than number 1. There are a few issues that I like. This is a Frank Miller cover, actually, and it has Werewolf by Night. And it shows all the Columbia Picture monsters. Werewolf, Frankenstein, Dracula, Hunchback from Notre Dame, I believe that is. So that was pretty cool. And this thing is really a nice high-grade book. Great horror cover for Halloween. Man, I found a couple issues of this in high grade. Space Family Robinson, Lost in Space. And of course, Gold Key does a number on the outside. This is number 39 from April 74. If you don't know, Lawrence talked about this in his Gold Key video. Space Family Robinson was created by Gold Key. CBS stole it, made a TV show, and renamed it Lost in Space. So Gold Key decided they were going to sue CBS over the name and over the property because they owned it, they created it. But, you know, they had a working relationship with CBS at the time, and then they decided, you know, they didn't really want to fracture that relationship. So instead they let it go. They adopted the name Lost in Space into the title of the comic. So the number 1, I don't know how many issues will run with just this title, and then it changes to Space Family Robinson Lost in Space. And I noticed this has a date stamp right there too, so really cool. Beautiful painted cover. Netflix has another new series based on this show. Actually, I watched episode 1. It wasn't really that bad. Son of Satan, number 5, nice high-grade copy. This may be a second one for me. If it is, this will be going in the prize box. Ron Wilson and Joe Sinnott cover. And you know that they're coming out with a Son of Satan, I believe, movie. Maybe a TV show on the Disney streaming service. Special Marvel Edition number 10. I just picked this up because it was a really high grade copy. Maybe a second issue, and if it is, it's definitely an upgrade for me. I have a bunch of these, but they're all beat up. That's what I'm saying. A lot of times you find these books, they're just beat up. So I'm going to keep grabbing them even if I own them already, if they're in high grade. Another one that I owned, you had to pick it up. I mean, come on. Savage Submariner 69 with Spider-Man. So this, I definitely already have one of these. One of these will be going in the prize box. That prize box just building up now of bronze stuff from Marvel. To smash a Spider-Man. Picked up this. I didn't have this issue. Pretty high grade. Number 278. The ringer has struck again. Who will be his next victim? And it looks like he's a werewolf. Pretty cool. Ernie Chan cover, 1976. Another Brave and the Bold. This one's an earlier issue from 1977, number 133. Of course, Jim Apparel cover again with Dead Man. Oh, yeah. Dead Man's Revenge from Beyond the Grave. Man, that's just a cool cover. So I figured it out as Jim Apparel used to ink his own work at DC for many, many years. Then into the early 80s, DC for some reason decided they want to try out different inkers on different artists. And they got other inkers to do his work somewhere around like the late 80s. And his artwork just didn't look as good anymore because he really knows how to ink his own stuff. Number 36 from October 69. Another nice copy of Space Family Robinson Lost in Space. If you can get like number one goes for quite a bit of money on this book. This one's kind of a low grade, but I wanted to read it because I've been reading these Silver Age DCs. July 67, Action Comics number 352. I think I read this before, but I know that this is going to be really cool. The Petrified Superman. I'd like to see what the twisted minds at DC at this time is going to do with these characters because they really have no rules. They can just do whatever they want. They don't kind of really have any set rules for the characters. I mean, they really go off the rails with some far out stuff, and that's why I like it. Another Adventure Comics, number 387, Lex Luthor's Outlaw Nephew. See what I'm talking about? They just come up with all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, have you heard about his nephew since then? So number 387, Supergirl versus Lex Luthor, actually his nephew. So yeah, that's going to be good, you know. And that's from 1969. So I got a few more. We're hitting the end of this run. I picked up another early Lois Lane from 1965, July, number 58. I did read this, and it was fun. It was great. I'm telling you. I actually saw a Jimmy Olsen issue where he's on a scale and there's someone else pouring gems on it. So they reused that cover. I don't know if they reused the story. But this was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm telling you guys, the comic books, they're really helping me get through this recovery on the surgery that I've had. No doubt. Comic books are so cool. Last but not least, Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, number 131. Giant size. This thing is chock full of stories. Now it's missing the outer piece that shows like the issue name and all that, but it's not broke. Now I did read an 80-page giant the other day of Superman, and it took me 2 days. I read half of that like at night, fell asleep, put it down, did my duties the next day, came back and finished it like later in the day. That's what a comic book should be like. Not something you pick up and in 5 minutes you're already done with the book. And I have to say, I've been watching a lot of videos. It seems to be catching on. A lot of people are really shying away from buying new comics anymore. And it's just because of that reason. They're just not worth the money. $4 for I don't know how many pages. Can't be like 16 maybe. And most of those pages aren't even story pages. And then most of the story pages aren't even story. They're just art. It's just not worth it. What I see is a lot of people going after new comics for spec. Not really for story, not really for anything but appearance of a key character that's appearing in a movie. And that's mainly what's driving new comics. If we revolt and if we stop altogether, maybe the industry will fold for a year or two and try to recover and come back and meet the demands of what the comic book reader wants. Because we don't want to spend $4 or $5 on a comic book that takes less than 5 minutes to read. It's just not worth it. You can go out and buy 5 comic books for that same money that will take you at least an hour or longer to read. And you'll get more enjoyment out of it. But those are just my thoughts, my opinions. You may agree, you may not. But glad you hung out. I hope you enjoyed this. I have fun buying these, reading them, showing them. And all those that watch, of course, you definitely appreciate it. And I'm going to show that appreciation with a nice contest maybe coming up next month. I'm almost got enough comics to fill up a big box again. So I'll be sending out 50 comics. And a lot of them are going to be Bronze Age, Marvels, some DCs. It's going to be good stuff. And I'm going to make sure there's some keys in there too, because I know people like that. So, Nighttiger, I'm out of here.